Good
It's
evening.
very nice meeting with you. Yeah, this is Paul Iketwinjoko. I've introduced you to our viewers all over the world for the this moment discussion titled Women Emancipation in Politics, Empowerment and Representation in Nigeria. You're welcome, madam.
Good. Thank you. Good evening, everybody. Good evening. I'm happy to be here.
I also want to use this opportunity to say this is about television. We are live on social media handles such as YouTube, Facebook, and other accounts. And tonight, we are going to extray the emancipation, empowerment of women and its representation in Nigeria, going by the constitution and the provision given by every sector of the government and leadership in power. For instance, in 1999, we encountered the former president of Nigeria, President Olusegun Obasanjo, inclusion of women in politics and its empowerment, which is significantly limited. Then former President Umaru Musa Yar'Adua also came and elevated it to up to 8.6% inclusion of women in government and representation. Former Governor President Goodluck Jonathan came in and extended it to 11.2%. What we have today under the APC administration of President Muhammadu Buhari is lower than the statistics aforementioned. Now, madam, I want to start this question with you. Between 1999 till that, do you think that global standard of women emancipation and empowerment has actually reflected in the Nigerian context of leadership and governance?
Well, the answer is a clear capital no. The women emancipation and participation globally has improved, but it's still below par, it's still below the standard we expect. And unfortunately, it's even worse in Nigeria. The amount of work that women have put in the movement, in the effort to emancipate Nigerian women and make sure that the political participation of women is increased, has not been rewarded at all. And I would say personally, I'm quite ashamed with the performance and the showing of my country, Nigeria.
All right. When you were former Minister of Women Affairs and Social Development under President Olusegun Obasanjo, what statistics could you have said about your bold's inclusion of women in governance and politics? Because in the whole standard of inclusion of women in that administration, one would say that President Obasanjo didn't recognize women as per, giving them representation. And you served in that government. What was your mantra during your service in that government regards to the women empowerment and representation?
A little bit of correction here. I was not a minister under President Olusegun Obasanjo. I was the pioneer national woman leader of the ruling party, the People's Democratic Party. And as a party, Obasanjo was just, coming in as a president. But as a party, we had to direct him, so to speak, and to be able to deliver to Nigerian women the promises we made to them as a party. What happened immediately President Obasanjo ascended power was that he asked the governors at that time to give him nominate three names per state, from which he will choose the 36 ministers that the federal constitution approved, one representing every state. No state governor returned a woman. It was only Plateau State who returned Pauline Tallen, the present Minister of Women Affairs. It was only that state. So if Obasanjo was to work according, with the names they gave him, he would have ended up having just one minister as a woman. But as a party, we said, no, this cannot happen. And we put pressure on him. And what he did was that, I hope people are hearing me. Hello?
Yeah, I'm hearing you. I don't know. Yeah, I'm hearing you.
Somebody was saying that there's no sound. Okay.
He should unmute himself. Yeah. He should unmute himself. Yeah.
So,
continue, madam.
As a party, we pressurized him. I was the pioneer national woman leader. I didn't allow him to sleep one day, to rest, until he righted the wrong that the ministers had done at that time. So what did he do? He had to appoint women to represent the zones, and it's not constitutional. It wasn't in our constitution. It was now his discretion. And during his time in 1999, we ended up having about 7 ministers appointed. And from then on, it got, the party continued to increase the number of women ministers. It was only from 2015 that it went down again. From 2015, the number of female ministers went down drastically. When I was minister under Jonathan for a few months, about 10 months, from 2010, mid-2010 to early 2011. That was my ministerial stint. And we did a lot of mobilization. Unfortunately, again, we were sabotaged.
Okay, well, sorry, we'll come to that administration of former President Goodluck Jonathan. But now let's reintroduce our concept tonight, because I can see so many of our viewers, entering and them being participants of this program. If you're just joining us, this is Elumba Television, streaming live on Facebook and other social media accounts. The topic tonight in this course is women emancipation in Nigerian politics, empowerment and representation. And our special guest is Josephine Anin. She was the pioneer national women leader of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, former SA to President Olusegun Obasanjo on women affairs, and former minister under President Goodluck Jonathan, first vice president Nigerian League of Women Foundation of the Nigeria, Alzheimer's Disease Foundation. She was also founder and president of Nkatandi Inyom Igbo, co-convener also of New Women for Women movement in Nigeria. So the topic, like we've been explaining, is about the purview of women participation in politics and its representation. So, madam, this one question, our viewers would like to, in a nutshell, have you describe or define what women emancipation is all about. What does it mean?
When you say women emancipation, it means that women have been in bondage. Women have been, subjugated. So when you talk about women emancipation, you're implying that women are being liberated and let loose. So women emancipation, that's what it connotes. Before the colonial masters, we didn't have any problem of women emancipation. We didn't have any need for women emancipation because women had their place and they had their role, and the society had, recognized the role of women in governance, in decision making. But during the colonial period and post-colonial period, especially during the colonial period, Women were disempowered. The power they had before the colonial masters came was taken away from them. They were disempowered economically, politically, socially, everything. Religiously, even the churches helped in disempowering the women by what they were teaching the women. And they asked the women to go back to their homes and stay at home. And they had, that was when women became subjugated. But after that, when women now found themselves and found their voices, started finding their voices, they now started agitating for emancipation. They want to be included in governance. They want to be part of governance. They want to be part of development of their communities. And that is what we are doing. And I must say that women are doing a lot of work in that area, and they are succeeding because they are being heard, even though the patriarchal system has been so entrenched that it is difficult to break through. But women are determined to break through, and they are breaking through gradually, albeit very slowly. You're muted, Elomba. Were you talking to me?
All right. Yeah, I'm asking that one would like to know how extent you really rekindled these concepts of women emancipation in general leadership of this country when you were the pioneer national women leader of the People's Democratic Party, because inclusion of women in governance during that particular government of President Olusegun Obasanjo was not significant enough in comparative analysis of when you serve under President Goodluck Jonathan, and you were in charge of women emancipation as a founder of Ndi Inyom Igbo and all the rest. And we didn't see much of this coming up. The campaign was not, strictly unlimited for the voices of women to be heard. Was it by your own purview or the government that be?
The journey of women emancipation did not start with me or with President Obasanjo. We've had women who have been on the track, on the trail, fighting for the emancipation of women. We had women like Haja Gambo Sawaba, we had Margaret Ekpo, we had Mrs. Ransom Kuti, we had Uro Laisan, we had Janet Mokelu, many of them struggling to emancipate the women, struggling to create spaces for women's participation in politics. But remember what I said, that the colonial masters and the men that they left behind disempowered the women, and for want of a better word to use, I would say locked up the women in the homes. So, and the mentality and the socialization that the women got at that time was that politics is for men, it's a man's stuff. Women didn't have any business going into politics. So we had these trailblazers who challenged that and went into politics, and they made their voices heard, and they tried their best to bring other women along. Religion also helped to disempower women more in the mind. So even till now, as I speak to you in 2021, there are some women, there are a lot of women who do not believe that they have any business with politics, who do not believe that they have anything to contribute in the public domain, that God created them to be helpmates and that they should help from the home front and sit at home, bring up the children, and just stay there, that they have no business in politics. So it is a huge job, changing mindset. And it is not something you can do in an administration. It is something that will take generations to achieve. If you know, when the likes of Hajia Gambo Sawaba lived and practiced and their politics and fought for the emancipation of women, that was 50, 60 years ago or more. So you see, it is not, it's not a sprint, it's a marathon race for women to be able to change the mindset of both men and women. There are so many men also who do not believe that women should be in politics or in the public arena, public sphere, or come to where they are making decisions. This is a very patriarchal society. And when women were disempowered, it pushed women further back. And so it's a huge job to come out of it. You look at our communities. You know your town union. How many women are there? Will they allow women to get there? Will they allow women to come to the meetings where the men are sitting and talking? Like I am an Igbo person, so the Imo Obi, for instance, or the Obi, women don't go there. So it's only now that we are breaking in, and it is a gradual process. I'm telling you, it's not going to end in one administration. We are going to be making inroads incrementally. I said that I'm disappointed that the rate of increment is slow. I would wish it was faster, and it's going to be, but there's no magic wand to do it. So we need to change, first of all, mindset. We need to change mindset. It's only now that you see some Christian churches allowing women to be priests. You remember in those days, you can only be a reverend sister, not a priest. But now you can have, in the Anglican communion, you can have women as priests. That is leadership. You can have reverend sisters in the Catholic Church distributing communion. That's a progress. I hope that one day they will be able to celebrate Mass and so on and so forth. So just narrowing it down to, an administration and thinking that, that the administration has not done well or did not do well, or that the women themselves in the women movement are not working hard enough, will be a little bit unfair, if you don't mind me saying that, because we are really, really struggling very hard. But the forces that we are fighting are huge, to conquer. But I know that success is us and is ours, and I always say Aluta will continue.
Okay, thank you for that elucidation. But I would like to know the rule of the traditional mantle and environment, the laws and culture, how it can affect, women emancipation and empowerment. Does tradition affect that in our context here?
Of course, that's what I've told you. The tradition, the tradition, religion, and everything affects women's empowerment and women being in governance. We
have seen some women become traditional rulers, even chiefs. And most of them use that in their participation in politics. Even the administration of former presidents Obasanjo and Goodluck Jonathan, which you serve, we had the likes of Dr. Mrs. Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala and others. Are you saying in our context today in Nigeria that women have not been emancipated? They've not been empowered enough traditionally and by religious, ties?
We have not been emancipated enough. There's still a lot of grounds to be covered. So given in a population of 50 million women or 60 million women, and you keep throwing Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala and Dora Akunyili at us, is unfair. We should have enough numbers of women that you cannot even count or remember the names. So when when we talk about women's achievement or women's participation, and the story ends with, oh, you see Okonjo-Iweala and Dora Akunyili, what are you people saying that you haven't got? That's unfair. That's unfair. And we are not satisfied. I started by saying that I'm ashamed at the level we are in Nigeria, especially when I know the hard work that we are doing, trying to push to get into governance. It's not easy for us, but we are trying. But I know that, and I've said again that one of the problems that we also have is the problem of mindset of both men and women who have not accepted that it should be normal for women to be there. You talk about women being chiefs. Very few places that you will find a woman being a chief in the actual sense of being a chief. She's probably an honorary chief. Even in the West, where they have women as regents, people would say, okay, women are regents. Why can't a woman be a full-fledged Oba? Why must we end just being a regent, holding the position until another Oba is brought in? That shows that patriarchal line that I'm talking about. So when are we going to have a woman president? When you cannot even give us a woman town union, PG, town union, what do they call it? President General of a town union. When we cannot even be a full-fledged Alafi or the Oba of Ife, the Oni of Ife as a woman, you know? So we should not gloss over the problems that women are facing. We are doing our best, we are struggling, and we cannot do, we have since realized that we cannot do it alone. So that is why we are encouraging women to partner with men. Like in Katandi, we know our tradition. We know what is on ground in Igbo land, for instance. And we know that there is no way we can do anything if we don't partner with the men and allow, and work hand in hand with them. And that is where even at the United Nations, that's why you now have he for she's. He's that have understood, he's that have been emancipated and, themselves, that understands the value of having women working with women. So they also have he for she's, even at the United Nations. And that is the in thing now. That is the current trend, working together with the men. That's all we're asking for.
Over the years and centuries ago, the men folks, they've really sounded it to be of, societal perception on gender ability, that women ought not to stress themselves, and they're supposed to be a supporter to men and encourage men, into leadership, because some folks believe that women are the weaker sex, which biologically or scientifically have not been proven. But we have seen so many times during, some of the political appointees in previous administrations and even in this administration, where women have not been really rallying within themselves to support themselves. Some class of people have reiterated that women they dislike themselves. So how can you emancipate yourself when you do not carry yourselves along? And I want to know, as a founder and president general of Nkatandi Nyomibo, how have you been able to use your office in able to empower other women, including our young ladies?
Those are cliches that men use to subjugate women, disempower women. They wash our head, brainwash us to believe that women do not like women. It's all part of the tactics men use to put women down, to disempower women. Who says that women do not support women? Women support women. And you find that every community that has had development, most of the development is by women groups. You find women organizations, very many women organizations working together and developing their areas and their communities. Are they not women working together? They are women working together. So when men will come and tell us that women don't support women, they're just playing on our emotions and washing our, washing our head, brainwashing us. And I don't believe in that. Women support women. I keep saying that we have been disempowered by men and by patriarchy, and we are asking that it should change. That mindset should change. You see, the society that assigns roles to women and tell women stay at home, look after the house, let the men go out and hunt for the meat, and then bring it for you to cook. That era has passed. If you ask women now to go and be hunters, they will be better hunters, I can assure you. So that era has passed. Women are now going out, they are working. They are in offices like the men, and they are putting in the same hours as the men, and they are working as much as the men, and they are still looking after their homes. It didn't stop them from looking after their homes or looking after their children. So all that mentality must change. It has to change.
All right. We have one of our participants or viewers who is one of the advocates of women empowerment and emancipation in the name of Professor Chidi Odinka. So, Prof, sir, I'm happy to meet you here, sir.
He's a he for she. He's our greatest ally. He's a he for she. He's one of our greatest allies. I don't know what we in the women's movement could have done without Chidi Odinka. Chidi Odinka is a feminist, and he's not ashamed to say he's a feminist. Let him tell you now.
Okay, Prof, please, we would like to hear your views now, because Nigeria is lagging in global rating of women empowerment. And when you were the President General of the boards of the National Human Rights Commission, I read much about you, and you've advocated for women empowerment and emancipation. In fact, during the time when this present administration of APC government came on board, you criticized and engaged the President Muhammadu Buhari non-inclusion of women 13%, deprivation into this government. And now we are in this discourse, and I want to use this opportunity to avail you of your views why this country, especially Nigeria and other ethnic nationalities, have not really recognized women. Are you of the view that women do not help themselves to be emancipated or empowered, or that the political actors of government that be do not give them the chances to be showcase themselves and their prowess. Prof, please.
Let's see.
Hello, Prof.
Yeah.
Prof, are you there? Please unmute yourself so that you'll be able to hear us. All right. Before we
muted.
Before
Can't you unmute him?
I think he is not muted.
Can't you unmute him?
All right. Yes. I think his network has been unmuted. I want to use this. All right. Okay. It's the network issue. We'll come back to you, Prof. Yes, ma'am. We have seen a lot of ratings between states to other states in Nigeria. For instance, in Bayelsa State, Kogi State, River State, most of the executive governors in charge have recognized and empowered women by political appointments. Are you saying up to that has not been any improvement going by such empowerment? Where in the cabinet, you have up to 9 to 10% women in the executive council of state levels.
Yeah, I think I had alluded to this, that the parties, it's actually the party that, encourages this type of what you are seeing in the area of appointments by the governors. They are trying, but they are not. But we are still not where we want to be. You find that in the states, during the local government elections, in bracket, I put it in brackets, you find that no woman, or hardly would you find a woman as a local government chairman. Maybe occasionally you will get one local government chairperson. Maybe sometimes it is two, but it is very sporadic, very occasional. Then in that case, we now, advocate to the governor. Okay, since we don't have chairmen, can you give us more councillors, supervisory councillors, for instance? And they will do that. And so it helps to increase the number of appointive positions that women are holding. We also ask that they should give them board appointments and all that. They do that. Sometimes they do. It increases, but it is still not enough. You see, where the power is really is in elective positions. We want elective positions. We want to be elected into the state houses of assembly. Would you believe that in this country now, there are some states that do not have one single woman in their state house of assembly? We want to have women elected in the state houses of assembly. We want to see them, more women in the National Assembly. You say women don't like women. When you have 360 men and maybe 20 women debating a bill that is supposed to empower women, of course, it will fail. And when it fails, the people outside will say that the women in the National Assembly are not doing anything. What can they do with that infinitesimal number that they have? Because when it comes to voting, it's majority that will carry the day. So we need more women. 7 women out of 109 men is nothing to write home about. It's nothing to dance about. We are not happy with that. We need more women elected. So we are advocating to the political parties, because that's where the election starts, from the party primaries. They should give women level playing ground. Luckily, more women have been sensitized and conscientized. More women are offering now to stand for elective positions. The parties have done very well by giving them some assistance, some financial assistance in their journey, by saying, okay, if the form is 21,000, for instance, you want to be a governor, it's 21,000 for nomination form. And the party says, okay, just give us 1,000 expression of interest. You can keep the 20,000 to assist your campaign. I thank the parties, all the parties, most of the parties are doing that. So we say we are grateful for that. But we also need them to make sure that the delegates that are now going to go into those primaries to vote, that there is enough number of women there and women-friendly men, so that we have a chance of electing qualified women, because they are very qualified. They are very, very qualified women. So that's where it starts from. So yes, some states have, have appointed, special advisors, special assistants, but that's not, we are grateful, but that's not our ultimate goal. We want to see more substantial and substantive positions.
All right. Do we need affirmative action in Nigeria to enable women emancipation and empowerment?
We have been asking for that. We have been asking for affirmative action over several years, over several National Assembly sessions. But the thing is that, again, like I said, because we have more males, more patriarchal males in the assembly, they will not let it pass. Other states like South Africa, they have it in their constitution, 50-50. So what is difficult in us having it in our constitution like that, 50-50? Why? Even the section that says one minister per state, we have asked the National Assembly to extend it by saying that in appointing one minister per state, they should make sure that no gender is less than 40%. But they will not pass it. What is difficult in all that? Just because they don't want to shift. They don't want to shift. There's no political will in that area. I remember I went on an advocacy visit to National Assembly once, and I was asking that they should pass something, a bill or whatever, to say that every state must have one female senator at least. And do you know what the men said? Which senatorial, are you gunning for my seat? That was what they were shouting at me. Which senatorial area will now give up their seat for a woman? But I'm happy in Anambra, we have 2 women, 2 senatorial seats, 2 senatorial zones that have given us women. I wish other states can follow suit. And then we'll start increasing the number of women in the dome.
All right, sir. Let me speak with, okay. Alumba Television, my co-host wants to ask a question. Please, Mr. Daniel, please, can you ask your question before I proceed? Thank you very much.
Yes, first of all, it's our pleasure to host you today on Identity. It's our pleasure. And you've spoken a lot on the issue of women empowerment in politics. My question would be, apart from in the political arena, what about other areas of our national life? We see, I read a report that dropouts, children dropping out from school, is more noticeable females more than the males. I don't have the statistics anymore, but there was a time I wrote an article on it. More females are being withdrawn from school than women. And if a parent is unable to pay school fees for two of their children, male or female, more likely they will tell the girl to stop, let the boy continue in education. And then also, I look around in our national life, chief executives of companies, head of industries, MDs of banks and big companies as well. The women are not heavily represented. You're talking of affirmative action. What else can the government do to close the inequality between males and females in Nigeria, and not just in the political arena, in your opinion?
Yeah, you're very correct. It's not only in politics, it's in every area. But it's also, don't you see where it is pointing and where it is coming from? It is that disempowerment of women. When there's going to be a choice between sending a boy or a girl to school, they will choose the male. So it goes back to what I was saying about changing the mindset of our society. Changing the mindset, dismantling patriarchy. This preference for males should, people should start seeing their children as equal. Whether you are a boy or a girl, you are equal in this family. So that is that's going back again to what I said about that this thing will change, but it's going to take generations. It's not just going to take one election cycle to change. So we have to, from training the children in the schools, the school curriculum, and training the children at home, making the boy understand that he is not better than the sister, making the boys understand that they are not better than boys are not better than girls, giving them equal opportunities. And when this is imbibed, then that problem is solved, and then we go on. Another thing that is also making girls drop out of school now is the situation in our country. The insecurity in the country is making it very unsafe for girls to remain in school, making it very, very unsafe for them. So we need the safe schools. During the Jonathan administration, after the Chibok girls incident, there was a program that was started, the Safe School Initiative. Girls' boarding schools should be fenced. They should have security there, so that parents will have the confidence to send their children to school. Because if there's any attack, you know what they will do to those girls. And no man, no woman, no mother, no father can imagine it, can live with the imagination of what will be happening to their daughter. So the best thing is say, my daughter stay at home. So there are so many factors that are militating against women's, emancipation. But we just have to keep at it. First, I said, change of mindset, breaking down of the patriarchal nature of our society. And the women themselves having the confidence, the self-confidence in themselves to come out. You find that in the business sector, in the business section, when a woman is working and she starts having children, it is in that family, it is the woman that has to drop out of the job to stay at.
Exactly. Let me throw in a question here. You've just made a point which I want to ask a question on. You know,
Yes.
sometimes these things, to change these things, takes legislative action. You just mentioned, if an MD of a company now is a lady and gets pregnant, what legislative measures can be put in place to make sure that our women is able to continue to work and still enjoy their motherhood? Another thing I want to ask is,
Um,
there is this saying that mentioned that empower a man, you feed a family; empower a woman, you feed a whole nation. Now,
yes.
what about the cultures? What do you think? What's your opinion about some cultures that tend to place women in a second fiddle? For instance, women being unable to inherit from their father's properties when the father is no more. Should we look at also changing some of those cultures and traditions that tend
That
to
is
disadvantage women?
that is what we have been working at as women, and it is changing gradually. For instance, there is a Supreme Court ruling that says a girl can now inherit in Igbo land. Before, it was taboo. But the law is there, sitting there, standing there. Is it being implemented? I was at a women's meeting in Anambra when that ruling was given. I was ecstatic, and I was telling the women, you see, if anybody says you cannot inherit now, you go to court. The court will give it to you. And the women said, for where? It's not possible. I said, but you have the right now. So you see where education comes in. We need to continue educating the people because they have this thing in their mind and it is settled in their minds. We need to start educating them that things are changing. So you can have all the legislation you would like, but if the people refuse to obey, they just be obeying in breach. It will just be there, but it will not be, they will not do it. So we need to continue educating the people. So you find the younger girls now, there are so many young girls that will get married. And 2 years down the line, you're asking her, where is the baby? She will be bold enough to tell you that she's not yet ready for the baby because she has a career. Maybe she wants to get to a certain point and get her promotion before she starts having babies. But earlier before, a woman will just, immediately she gets married, she retires. So when you now come to the corporate world, you won't see them because they will start at the lower rung, maybe, get married, and then they drop off. So you only find few who stay, either because they are older or whatever, or they are, or they are emancipated. So, and they are the ones that are making the positions of managing directors and all that. We see a lot of them, but women still drop off on their own because of the culture, because of the tradition, because of what society expects them to do. So it will be changing, but it is gradual. I just wish the pace can be faster. That's what I'm saying.
All right. You say you just wish that it's gonna be changing and you wish it could be changed. Can you start telling us because our viewers would like to know where can we start from here? Where do we start? How can we commence? How do we start using culture, tradition, and religion to empower women and to recognize them? How could this be possible? How do we start using them?
Education, education, and education. And we in the women's movement are doing a lot of advocacy in these areas. We are interacting with the traditional rulers, and that's where you are seeing some emancipated traditional rulers giving way, changing the way it used to be with their forefathers. So, but we're not going to stop. We've started and we're going to continue doing that. But I'm telling you, you may not be seeing the effect now because, as I said, the rate of change is low. It's not that it is not happening. It is happening in some areas. It is happening. You know, it is happening. Even in very strong traditional societies where women were never allowed to come near at all, you will see that they are loosening up a bit. They are loosening up a bit. So that's why you will find them giving chieftaincy titles, albeit honorary, to women. But that's a step in. That's a leg in, you know. That means that, you know, that chief can now sit with the chiefs and talk and discuss.
All right, Mal. In a jiffy, before we begin to, come to the final conclusion of this meeting, I would like you to at least, highlight the roles of various political parties on women empowerment and emancipation, because it is the political parties, if they decide to give a ticket to a woman aspirant to the Senate or National Assembly or any level of political, election vie, it is the political parties that will determine whom they give, the empowerment. So the question is, we want to know the determination of political roles of those various political parties towards determining the empowerment of women in recognition. Do they have roles to play?
The political parties that I know of have played their roles. I will talk of the most political parties. If you go to their constitution now, you will read that they are prepared to give women 35%. It's in their guidelines, it's in their constitution. So the political party has done theirs. I also told you that most political parties have decided to financially empower the women who want to run for offices by asking them, don't pay for your forms. I gave the example of a gubernatorial form that cost 21,000, but the political party takes only 1,000 from the woman and says, take the form. So she's saving 20 million. Did I say 21 million? Yeah. They take 1 million and ask her to keep the 20 million for her campaign. That's the way the political party is empowering women. It is the people, the members of the party, you know what I mean? The delegates who determine who gets the ticket. So if you get if the delegates are so, do not think that a woman getting the ticket can win the election, they will not vote for that woman. You will see women, the women that have been there, that are the few women that we have. It's the parties that voted for
excuse
them.
me, sorry to cut you short, but if those delegates can have such mindsets, what are the key roles of the political juggernauts in that political party have to say?
I don't.
For instance, a governor in a political party, and his chairman, who is also a chairman of that same political party. And we in Nigerian politics, we know that these key representatives and leaders of various political parties, they hobnob with the sitting governor. That's the case of that. Governor goes, we are go. Governor hobnob with the party leadership and do all sorts of meetings, with the delegates. So in this case, do you blame the delegates or the party chairman, or the political sitting governor, who is the leader of the political party?
I blame the delegates 100%. I blame the delegates because the power is in their hands. That vote is their power. There is no governor that will take cane and come and flog you. I blame the delegates. Our society is just too corrupt. Let me just open up now. Is the corruption. Because the delegates will be looking for who will vote buying. Who will buy their votes. Because if they are human beings and they belong to that, if they believe that if you take away, if they can just close their eyes to pecuniary considerations and look at the aspirants and decide who is better, you may find that most times it's the woman that is even better. But even if the woman is better, the woman will not get voted for because of kudi, money, ego, owo, vote buying. That is our bane. So the chairman of the chairman can never come and tell anybody, say this is who we vote for. They don't do it. I was a principal officer for years. We don't do it. We don't even decide who gets the ticket. All we do is to arrange the congresses or the convention or whatever. Plan for that, arrange it, and allow the delegates. But the delegates go for money. Highest bidder, they vote for that person, whether he is qualified or not. And most times, the women do not have the money to match it. The few women who have the money, see them, they are voted for. They are voted for.
So, okay, before I go open the floor for a few minutes questions from our viewers and participants, in the next meeting, I would like to ask this question. But before I do that, so many of our viewers are speaking, I would like to introduce the topic of discourse tonight, which is women empowerment in politics, emancipation and representation in Nigeria particularly. And our guest is Iyom Josephine Annie, and she is the was the pioneer national women leader of the People's Democratic Party, and of course, former SA President Olusegun Obasanjo on women affairs, and also former minister in the administration of President Goodluck Jonathan, first vice president for Nigerian League Women Foundation of Nigeria. She was also the founder Asthma Disease Foundation and founder President General Nkatandi Nyomi Igbo, also co-convener of women movements and movements. I want to ask you, ma, first ladies, is that not women participation and emancipation, whereby a political party shall win election and automatically the executive governor or the president's wife will become a first lady? Isn't that emancipation of women? Because there seems to be some allocation, and empowerment in that area, which of course have not significantly yielded an awesome emancipation of women. And we have various first ladies, governors' wives, and the president's wife. What do you say about that?
Well, isn't
that a political empowerment?
If a governor wins, if a man wins to be a governor or president, yes, his wife becomes the first lady of the state. But it is not in our constitution. It's not a constitutional position, and it's not a political position. And there should be no budget for that office because it is unknown in our constitution. But being the wife of the governor or wife of the president you have the glory of that office, of that man covering you. So it goes with a lot of influence. It can be the woman can be very, very influential because she's the wife of the governor or wife of the president. And because they are influential and they are women, they find ways to contribute their quota. That office has done a lot of good for women mobilization. I mean, that position, they call it office now, but it's a misnomer as far as I'm concerned. That position, wields a lot of influence, and some of them have used it, to help women. If, for instance, the husband is making appointments, and the wife whispers to him, I know these people, these ladies, I think you should consider having them. I'm sure the man would, concede to the wife. That kind of influence they can have. Then they also have what they call pet projects. These are things they do to keep them busy. They, for work, some of them, just look for a cause that they want to promote. And then they do that. And of course, people help them, friends, associates. That's how they get their funding and all that with. So I don't see anything wrong with that. But what I see is when it now comes to political elective positions, the most first ladies can help in offices that does not threaten their husband's position. I mean, if women want to be counselors, the first lady can use her influence as the governor's wife or the chairman's wife or whatever to talk to some people, and they will, and encourage women to become counselors or even whatever position. But if you now say you want to become a governor, it's not possible because she's mobilizing for her husband. So some of them actually use that position to mobilize for their husbands. Some use it, for genuine good causes.
Okay. Madam, let's allow Mr. Otumba Olabede Seni to ask a question. Please, can you go ahead for your questions?
Thank you very much, Mr. Moderator, for giving me this opportunity. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Hello? Okay. Yes, Madam, well done. You've done very well. Your CV said a lot of things about you, and most of the positions you have occupied also will speak for you. Now, for me, I just want to start by asking you this question before I proceed. Compare the level of corruption between Nigerian men and Nigerian women in the high offices. Which one surpass the other? Which one? Who comes first and who comes second?
Men will always come first. Men will always come first. You are masters on the game. Women are only learning, and it's the men that can keep them.
So for a start, we can agree on this premise that the amount of corruption in Nigeria will never make Nigeria become great at any time. The way things are, corruption is the biggest bane. Like I said, I always salute to you. I have read a little bit about you. You've done your best, but if you look at the level of corruption that have been seen, the proportion. Let's start with Lady Ibru. When she wasn't directly in politics. She was more or less like a director of a bank, and she amassed. She has so many properties, so much money that she cannot even spend the next 100 years. We look at all the first ladies, Madam Jonathan, all what she acquired and the millions of dollars that she said her mother left behind. And for even the current first lady that shuttles Dubai, and back, or what they have acquired. And when you look at the lady cashier that said millions of naira was consumed by, is it by rat or by monkey or whatever, or snake, and Mrs. IBB, the better part of her life, bless her soul, better, I call it better knife, not better life. So the question then is, please use this opportunity to tell listeners all over the world one successful project, one project that can be seen as a legacy. When I say legacy, I'm looking at legacy to be measured by legacy of Obafemi Awolowo. That 70 years on, her legacy of education will always be remembered. Nobody can beat that or take it away from. Please tell us what are the legacies of all the women so far in politics or in different positions in Nigeria. Did you get my question, madam?
Legacy of the first ladies. I should tell you, most of them are there for everybody to see. If you remember,
mention them, madam. Mention them.
Yeah. Excuse me. Remember, I told you that these offices are not constitutional and they are not in the budget. So if people give them money, I said because of their position as wife of, a lot of people offer them gifts, give them money. So if they accept and the thing accumulates to millions, I don't know how you can call that one corruption, because they are not in charge of any ministry, they are not in charge of anywhere, any budget. They did not dip hand into the national till to steal any money. So if people are going to their house where they are sitting in their house and giving them millions and they are accepting, I don't know, I don't think it will be fair on them to say that means corruption. Corruption will be the one, where if somebody is in charge of a budget to do something, maybe education or health or whatever, and they are not doing it, and they are giving contracts, contract that's supposed to be 10 naira. You now go and say it is 1,000 naira and pocket the other money, and the job is not done. That is what I call corruption. That is what I would call corruption. So, but that the wife is sitting down her own, she doesn't even have an office building. She's in her husband's house or in the state house, and people are coming and bringing bags of money for them. It's the people that are bringing money that's their business, and they know why they are doing it. I don't know why. And right. They have also been able to, starting from Mrs. Babangida, we cannot say that you cannot see her legacy. Let me tell you that even that we women, found their voice and started coming out and started agitating for. It was Mrs. Babangida that, gave women that voice. And even, you see the National Center in Abuja for women, that building, like I said, Friends, Julius Berger, and all that. She has that one to her name. You go to Miriam Abacha, what you call National Hospital today. Even though she was doing family support system, family support, whatever, her program was for family support. But somehow, I don't know how she managed, and we have the National Hospital. It was her initiative, and it was built under her. If Mrs. Yaradua did not die, President Yaradua did not die, Ture Yaradua has started a cancer center. She came out, launched it, people donated, and they would have started, but I don't know whether they have finished it, but That's it. It would have been done when she was first lady, and so on. So some of them have actually, you can see what they have. So when you talk about cancer and anything now, you will remember Mrs. Yaradua.
All right.
Okay. Women empowerment. You will remember. Mrs. Babangida. You go to health, women and children's hospital that they have now changed into national hospital. You will remember Miriam Abacha. You know.
All right. Thank you very much, Matt. Thank you very much, Matt. We are very happy and glad. We are excited and delighted for your praisings and knowledge-driven lectures and discussions you've so far given us tonight. Sorry, we come to the end of this outing, and we hope some other time when we invite you, you will honor our invitation, because Mr. Fixtu, sorry, we cannot take your question. We will make out a time for this second segment of this program, so that Josephine Annie will give us more insight, especially domestic violence against women in Nigeria. Madam, we are very grateful and we thank you for appearing in our program tonight. Madam, thank you very much, madam.
Thank you very much. I'm honored and I'm grateful you gave me this platform to speak to
Eleva Television will continue to give people like you this kind of similar platform to give voice for women empowerment and emancipation. And we hope that you will publish and author a book very soon on women emancipation and empowerment, so that our largest audience will, read your mindset and everything.